Please excuse if you hear any puppy noises. Lucy picks the best times to play with her toys when it's quiet in the house and I'm speaking to a camera, so don't mind that. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is now my 4th or 5th bump date and it's so exciting because as of today, I am officially halfway there. I am 20 weeks on the dot. So holy crap, does time go really, really fast. I'm hoping it's like that for the rest of the pregnancy because I know a lot of women say towards the end it seems like it takes forever just to, you know, get there, and I'm sure I'll feel that eventually, but these last 20 weeks have been a blur, seriously. Weeks just go by so fast, and every Sunday that rolls around I'm just like, holy crap, we're another week closer. So let's get right into this week's bump date. So like I said, today I am 20 weeks and baby is as big as a paper airplane. Or for another reference, baby is as big as a Belgian endive, which I've never even heard of, so it looks like some kind of lettuce. But anyway, baby is about 10 inches long and is potentially stretching out enough to where measurements will not be crown to rump, it will be from head to toe. So if that is accurate, then baby is about 10 inches long. Baby should be weighing about 10.5 ounces at this point. So not far from a pound yet, only 6 more ounces to go. And believe you me, I can see week to week how much baby is growing and how fast, and it is very fast. Now it's about, it seems to be about, I don't even know, just a lot per week at this point. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up because I am at my 20-week mark. On Friday, I will be 20 weeks and 5 days, and that is when we go for our 20-week anatomy scan. And we will be handed the gender, but we are not finding out the gender until 2 days after when we have our big gender reveal party. So it's gonna be really hard to not open that envelope, but it'll be so worth it the day of the party and we get to celebrate with everybody what it is. So for anyone who didn't see my last video, we do have names picked out for a boy or a girl, which again, I am not disclosing just yet. I will disclose probably when I make the video for my gender reveal party. When I put that together, I'll probably link it at the end or something, or in some type of way, I don't know. But we do have names picked out, so as soon as we find out the gender, this baby will officially have an identity, which I cannot wait for. So getting right into symptoms, a lot of symptoms actually have faded away. Mostly that I could think of, my headaches aren't nearly as bad. I do still get them more often than I would like to, but they're not as bad. I am no longer craving ice cream. So those 5 tubs of ice cream that Ray and I accidentally bought are now sitting in the freezer because I'm no longer craving them. I went on like a 2-week ice cream binge and that's all I wanted to eat. And now I'm back to just the salty things. I've been craving hot wings for the last couple weeks and a Sicilian pizza. And I went ham yesterday at my sister's baby shower on chips and dip and pretzels and dip, and I was so happy with life. Like that's all I want right now is just salty stuff. And actually there was something else. Oh, the cup noodles, like the instant lunch chicken ramen noodle things, I have been craving. The most unhealthy things I crave. It like drives me absolutely insane, but that's okay. I'm still not going overboard with my eating, so I'm not really worried about it. But speaking of which, in 4.5 months, I gained 6 pounds, and in 2 weeks, I've gained 4. So I am officially 10 pounds heavier than I was pre-baby, which according to my doctor is still perfectly okay because when I first ever saw the first doctor that I saw, she said that with my height and weight being pretty average and healthy, that I would still be in a healthy range to gain up to 35 pounds. Between 25 and 35, but 35 would still be perfect. So I'm okay with gaining half the weight that I wanted to in half the time during this pregnancy, even though towards the end I'm gonna be gaining a lot more, a lot quicker, but I do feel like I'll be all right. So speaking of doctor's appointments, we just recently had one this past week, and again, everything seems to be okay. The heart rate has dropped from 163 to now 147, which is perfectly normal, obviously with baby growing and things, you know, being put into place. That just naturally happens. It's nothing to be worried about or anything. So it's still above the 140, so wives' tales do say that it's still a girl. And I had a couple questions for my doctor. One of them being that my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she had something called velamentous placenta, and what that is at the end of the umbilical cord, I don't remember if it's at the placenta or at baby, it is webbed, and it's perfectly harmless as long as baby doesn't get too crazy in there and, you know, punch through it or something, which the scary thing is they could easily do, and then very traumatic and drastic things would happen from there. But back then they weren't able to see it on an ultrasound, so I'm looking forward to getting our anatomy scan to see if that is anything to worry about. Though the one good thing was that the doctor did say it is not hereditary, and actually when the doctor that my mom had 24 years ago told her she had it, he had been in that practice for, I think it was over 20 years, maybe over 15 years something, but a really long time, and she was only the second case that this doctor saw that had this thing, and they didn't know until after she gave birth to me that she even had it, so everything was perfectly fine. But there's so much to worry about when you're pregnant, it's crazy, and I have to stop doing research because I psych myself out. But anyway, another thing that I learned, possibly, because one of my symptoms recently has been my hunger, or my appetite has increased, which was said was going to happen. Not to the point of where I'm eating all the time by any means, but I went from having no appetite to I do need to eat regularly or else. I have been having kind of like fainting spells. I get really, really hot, and then I start feeling like I'm gonna pass out, and I get dizzy, and it's not fun. And as soon as I eat something, I'm perfectly back to normal. I do have to, like, I can't just get up and eat something or I would probably fall over, but I have to cool off and lie down, and then I'm okay, and then I get up and eat, and then it's completely gone. So I mentioned that to my doctor, and she believes that I am hypoglycemic, which means is a kind of good thing, and I mean not a fun thing, but it is the complete opposite of being a diabetic. It potentially means that my blood sugar is actually very low, so eating more often is a very good thing for me to do, and as long as I do eat when I start to feel that way, then everything should be a-okay. The only way to really see is through a blood test, which I don't have another one scheduled for a while. I don't think they haven't even mentioned another one. I've only had one thus far early on in the pregnancy. Though the glucose test is in 6 weeks, so the doctor didn't want to go ahead and schedule a blood test because it's not in like the sequence of things to do. So if they added one in, it probably wouldn't have been covered under my insurance, but she said as long as I'm eating when I feel that way, then everything should be fine. I really don't have to worry about it, and we'll see for sure when I have the glucose test. So I'm perfectly okay with that, learning that as long as I eat something, I'm okay, and it's 100% normal to be getting dizzy or faint because in the second trimester, your blood pressure also lowers very much. So it's all normal, and it's just fun pregnancy stuff. So I'm okay with waiting until the glucose test to see if there's anything, you know, that I need to add or take away from my diet and things like that. So other than that, oh, moody. I am so moody now, and I'm so upset because I was so calm and serene for so long, and now, like, oh my goodness. Once that switch is flipped, it is done, and I'm not proud of it, and I do feel sorry because a lot of the times Ray gets the brunt of that now, and I really don't mean to, but what are you gonna do? I really at this point can't control how I feel as much as I try to. So yeah, that's another more recent symptom. I really am just, emotions are completely uncontrollable, and it's been more towards anger than sadness at this point. So I don't know, I'm just trying to work through that. So the most exciting new symptom I've been having, if you watch my last bump date video, you will see that I had mentioned possibly feeling movement, and I wasn't sure if that's what it was exactly. It definitely was in fact movement, and probably within a week after I felt that first little pop from the inside, this child goes pretty crazy. And it's always when I'm like relaxing. It's never like when I'm moving or anything. When I sit down or lie down especially, it's crazy the amount of movement that's going on in there. And it's not the typical, people say they feel like flutters, like it's butterfly wings. I would more so relate it to like the popcorn feeling. It definitely just feels like a poke from the inside. Sometimes it's like real quick, like I don't know, like its leg or foot, its leg or arm like twitched or something, or it's just like a punch or a kick, a little one, but there's definitely a lot of movement going on in there. So we have that to look forward to. It seems like this baby might be a little hyper, we'll see. But it's very, very exciting to be feeling movement because I also mentioned in my last bump date that having had a miscarriage before having a pregnancy that's been this successful this long is very nerve-wracking. I have been this whole time kind of paranoid from appointment to appointment with the doctors for the 4 weeks in between that I would go and maybe not hear a heartbeat. So feeling movement is definitely reassuring, and it definitely helps to keep me more positive, and a lot less paranoid that there's something to worry about. So that makes me so excited. I've been dying to feel this. My sleep schedule is pretty much the same. I'm still getting up to pee in the middle of the night. It just kind of stinks because I'm getting more and more uncomfortable with sleeping, so I'm trying to figure out different positions to lay in, and I've tried the pillow between the legs thing, and I'm not one who likes to be really confined when I sleep, so I don't want to go ahead and get one of those like body pillow things or whatever, because that's just not comfortable for me. But I'm kind of just dealing with it. But it kind of stinks because I still have yet to have that second trimester burst of energy. Again, I'm still not nearly as tired as I was during the first trimester at all, because during the first I was just completely exhausted. But I definitely could use some more sleep, and I'm not getting that. So it's a little unfortunate, but again, it all comes with being pregnant, and it's gonna be worth it in the end. So I'm not complaining. It's just simply a listed symptom. So another thing I noticed is that my skin is changing. I'm breaking out a lot less than I was pre-pregnancy, and even in the beginning of the first trimester, before my pregnancy, always like 2 weeks out of the month, had really bad hormonal acne around my mouth. And I still do get little things here and there, obviously, because it's just something that happens, but it's nothing like it was. And I actually go for longer periods of time now without getting any breakouts than I have in years, and it's great. But at the same time, what kind of stinks about it is that I think it's because my skin has become so dry. And I know part of that has to do with the fact that it is the winter season, so my skin will naturally get dry, but being pregnant, I have been very adamant on applying lotion basically everywhere, including my face. And I have to apply lotion to my face numerous times a day to keep it hydrated. So that's definitely been something new. My skin is very, very dry, on my face especially. I have had, obviously, when you're pregnant, you have a bunch of people coming up and predicting what the gender is just by looking at you, and 110% every single person has said girl. There has not been a single person that told me boy, and the one person that did only said it because everybody said girl and then changed their mind just because of how I'm carrying and how things are growing on me. And so as much as I wanted a boy at first, I'm really starting to believe, and I don't know if it's just because all the people in my head, but I'm really starting to believe that it is going to be a girl, which I'm 100% okay with as long as she's healthy. But I'm noticing it myself because I have always been a thicker girl. I was never very petite. I was always kind of wider, and my legs and my butt have always been pretty big. And for them to be getting bigger at this point says a lot. And I'm not working them out to be gaining any muscle. They're just expanding. And there's some pros and cons to it, definitely. But the one thing that's been driving me crazy is that my face is getting so much more round, and for me it's just really hard to live with because I was a chubby kid growing up before I really started taking really good care of myself, and I always had a big round chubby face, and it's coming back to haunt me during this pregnancy. And again, all worth it, but it's just something I'm getting used to. I don't even realize it, obviously, because I don't look at myself every day until I see like pictures of me and I'm like, holy crap, I look like 12-year-old Stephanie with my big round face. But what are you gonna do? But I really am believing that it's a girl because of those reasons specifically. So other than that, there's really not been anything new. Everything seems to be going pretty well, and I'm just getting so excited because the gender reveal is coming up so soon, and I'm just praying to God that this child cooperates the day of the anatomy scan and we get a picture of the gender, or I'm going to have to cancel the party 2 days before it happens, and I'm going to be very upset about it, and then God knows when I'll find out the gender. So I'm praying. Please keep your fingers crossed for me that baby cooperates. I'm imagining he or she would do something in the way of them getting the right picture, because like I said, baby has just been all over the place. So I imagine one little flip return, they should be able to get something. So I'm just so excited. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you want to keep following our journey, then to hit the subscribe button on, I always forget which side to point to. And if you want to be notified when I post a new video, there's a little bell next to the subscribe button. Make sure to hit that if you want to get notified. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram. That is where my first official gender announcement will be posted before I even edit and make the gender reveal party video. So if you want to know right off the bat what the gender is, make sure to follow me on Instagram. The link to that is below as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Before I go here, we're gonna do a belly shot, and until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.